While road tech can often feel like it moves quite slowly, we think there are going to be some brilliant tech trends for 2024 for us regular riders. Just think, this year we saw new endurance bikes push into gravel territory for wildly versatile machines, even better road tubeless tyres appeared from the big brands, and fresh group sets appeared from the big three. As ever though, this leaves us questioning what next year has in store. Here are our 6 tech trend predictions for 2024.
A new SRAM Red AXS group set will almost certainly arrive in 2024. The brand's flagship road bike group set is well overdue an update, and recently-ish filed patents hint a new launch is imminent. Beyond that though, we have no details on what new features a new group set will include. But I'd put money on one thing: there will be no rim brake option. High-end rim brake road bike availability is in terminal decline, and there is simply not a big enough market for SRAM to bother making new rim brake components. That's not to say there are no riders who would appreciate a rim brake option. A niche audience, myself included, are die-hard rim squidgers, but we are in a minority. However, there should still be hope for wheel squidgers who want the latest shifting tech. AXS family wireless shifting components are all interoperable, meaning you can mix and match different tier group sets and even road and mountain bike components. I would be astonished if SRAM moved to an incompatible protocol for its new Red AXS components. So it should still be possible to pair old rim brake shifters with new drivetrain components. Still, with Campagnolo dropping a rim brake option from its Super Record wireless group set and Shimano carrying over previous generation components for its Dura-Ace R9200 components, the days of the high-end rim brake road bike group set are clearly numbered.
Bike prices are silly. Yes, I'm glad we all agree. Top spec models cost what, 12, 13, maybe even £14,000, and second tier builds, what many of us aspire to call our own, are now out of reach to all but the very affluent. If I was to buy my own specialised S-Works Athos today, the frame would cost £4,750 or $5,000. An Ultegra Di2 build similar to my own would be £8,200 or $8,000. Trek 2 has some sizable prices. An Amonda SLR7 costs £8,300 or $8,999.99 for Ultegra Di2, or £9,200 or $9,699.99 for the SRAM Force AXS build. But look away from the big brands and there is hope on the horizon, like a shining beacon. Nice light. The bike of Decathlon AG2R Van Rysel's RCR Pro is one that we have our eyes on. The SRAM Force ETAP AXS build with Zip 404 Firecrest wheels costs $6,999 in the US and £4,700 in Europe. In the UK, it will cost a penny under £5,000. Giant's Propel Advance Pro Zero AXS was our aero bike of the year in 2023, winning significant praise for a race-ready build at the £6,399 or $8,000 price point. Merida's Sculptura 8000 is a cracking deal for Ultegra Di2 at £4,800 or $6,499. And then you have bikes such as the Elves Vanyar Pro Disc, which I'm currently testing. That bike in its Ultegra Di2 guise comes in at £3,999 or $1,300 for the frameset only option in the US. You do have an option for custom paint as standard, which is really impressive. So there are bikes on the market that will gallop to your aid, something of a knight in shining armour for the cyclist that thinks all 2024 bikes are just too expensive. Or you might think that £4,000 is still silly money for an Ultegra Di2 bike. In that case, I'll just go back to the drawing board.
There's a lot to be said for going for wider tyres, and I think it's likely I'll see more and more people going bigger in 2024. I'm not talking about a step change here, but rather a slow adoption as mass ranks of riders succumb to the charms of smoother, easier and more confident ride experience. Change never happens overnight. Understandably, there are those who are happy with their current setup and see no reason to change, while others remain unconvinced of the benefits associated with going wider. However, I believe we're approaching a tipping point with mass adoption, as riders wear down their old, narrower rubber and find a need to replace it. A snowball effect will take place, whereby one might have given it a go with a positive experience, prompting others to try, who in turn report their experiences to the willing ears of interested riders, and then they make the switch, and so on. Before long, I think we'll hear the death knell of the 700x25C tyre, with 700x28C perhaps even considered narrow, as more choose to go even wider. That said, I think tyre brands aren't going to keep pushing the width envelope much further. Generally speaking, road bike tyre clearances now top up at around 35 to 36mm, with some exceptions. However, while roadies have taken their time to edge towards wider rubber to this point, I think it could be optimistic to think that they'll simply keep on inexorably moving up. So, while I foresee recreational riders opting for wider tyres, I don't see bike brands going much wider in 2024.
For road tech trends, there is an obvious unstoppable march towards complete integration and electronic drivetrains being cemented as the only choice for serious performance bikes. I'm also seeing signs of a re-emergence of the weight wars of the early noughties, when weight weenies were king before being supplanted by the aero aficionados. But I think the major trend is within endurance bikes and the arrival of what I'm terming the Britney Bike. Just as the troubled chanteuses lament, I'm not a girl, not yet a woman, for the endurance bike, it's I'm not a race bike, not yet a gravel bike. It started in 2023 with the Vitus Venon Evo and the Ridley Griffin, and it's spiraled with bikes like the Specialized Roubaix SL8, Merida Sculptura Endurance GR, and more from the major players. I think we'll see plenty of Pro Tour riders moonlighting in gravel races, adopting and adapting bikes like the Roubaix and the Sculptura, helping us to cotton onto the fact that you can have one bike to do most things. Of course, there's always the exception that proves the rule. Giant's new and rather brilliant Defy. Now, this absolutely isn't a Britney bike. It just does the job of being a brilliant endurance bike. But will Britney bikes be as popular as the 2000s Princess of Pop? Time will tell.
Tyre tech for road bikes has developed rapidly in recent years, with manufacturers making faster and more durable tyres than ever before. Now, Schwalbe, one of the major players in this segment, has been relatively quiet since it last overhauled its range in 2019. While our Fast Tyres group test proved that the Pro 1 TLE remains competitive with some of the best tubeless tyres now available, the German brand looks set to release a number of new models in 2024, and there's reason to believe that tyre nerds such as myself should be very excited. Schwalbe announced earlier this year the Pro 1 Aero, featuring updated casings and compound, but it had a few more new tyres hidden in plain sight throughout the season. There was a set of blue accented Pro 1 TLE tyres on Alexander Kristoff's Dare VSRU at the Tour de France, for example, and a number of Schwalbe sponsored athletes used grey and blue versions of the Pro 1 TT at the Kona Ironman World Championships this year, a tyre which, as things stand, is only available in a classic gum-wall colour. Most excitingly, these blue accented tyres share a distinct visual similarity with the Pro 1 Aerofan prototype tubeless tyre teased by Schwalbe earlier this year at Eurobike. This tyre is claimed to use a new construction influenced by the ultralight tech used in Schwalbe's Aerofan thermoplastic TPU inner tubes. And as a result, Schwalbe claims that this tyre weighs just 165 grams in a size 700x28C, and it has very low rolling resistance. Now, for context, that's almost 100 grams less per tyre than the current Pro 1 TLE, which is already one of the lightest all-round road tubeless tyres. Now, I believe that Schwalbe may have incorporated a TPU lining into the casing of the Pro 1 Aerofan, enabling it to make a lighter and thinner tyre. This, plus 5 years of compound development, may have enabled it to make a substantially faster and lighter tyre without overly impacting air retention or durability. Whatever the case, could Schwalbe be about to upend the established pecking order for racy road bike tyres in 2024? I think so.
By the end of 2024, the road Groupset Big Three will lose a member. In 2023, the prestigious Italian brand Campagnolo slipped down to one sponsored team in the Men's World Tour, and it supplies none in the Women's World Tour. Next year, it may disappear from the top level of the sport entirely. The consumer market doesn't look much better. Only Italian bike brands such as Pinarello reliably spec Campag, and usually the top-of-the-range Super Record wireless. It's too early to conclude that the brand's new 12-speed electronic Groupset has flopped, but the Canon Endure CFR was one of the only non-Italian bikes to offer a Super Record wireless option in 2023. To survive, will the Italian brand cease production of its entry-level and mid-tier Groupsets, which are falling from favour, and mainly sell Super Record wireless to consumers? It's more certain that SRAM and Shimano, despite the latter's crankset recall fallout, will consolidate their dominance amongst the pros and amateurs. In the long term, Microshift could challenge the big two by undercutting them on price if it releases a road Groupset alongside its gravel and mountain bike options. I also predict that more riders will spec aftermarket drivetrain components from the likes of Garbaruk, Absolute Black and Wolftooth on their road bikes. The atypical size of chainrings and cassettes these brands offer are more useful on gravel and mountain bikes than on the road, except in niche racing disciplines such as hill climbing and road bike time trialling. But premium road Groupsets have converged visually. The latest Shimano Dura-Race Di2 R9200 and Ultegra Di2 R8170 look more similar than ever. So more road cyclists will customise their bikes with colourful, lightweight, aftermarket drivetrain components to stand out on the group ride, rather than for performance benefit.
That's quite the collection of tech trend predictions. Which ones will we get right and which ones are wildly off? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Now, before you go, remember to like and subscribe. And why not check out this video?